Hello, everybody. My name is Danielle, and I'm from Kitties Readings. So today's pick a card is a mini one. So that means about 5 to 15 minutes a pile. I am looking at just some suggestions and guidance about what you need to know during the holiday season. My intention really is just to get some guidance that helps you feel the most connected to yourself, the most grounded, and the most clear during the holiday season. So I haven't actually looked at any of the cards yet. I did just pre-pull them all, but I'm going to discover with you which each pile is even going to be talking about. So, that being said, pile 1 is this Amethyst. Pile 2 is this Rose Quartz Pyramid. Pile 3 is this clear quartz point. I did feel like choosing really big crystals today, so I'm not sure what that was about, but it's very excited to use them. So there you have it. So if you've never done a pick a card reading before, I'll give you a quick explanation right now on how to do so. If you already know how to, I imagine you've probably already gone and chose your piles. So that being said, the best way to start with the whole process of choosing a pile or a card deck to get a message from is to try to recenter and ground yourself as best as possible. So we're really just trying to get you out of the mental body and more into the physical body. A good way to do that is if it's safe and possible for you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale it out. Maybe letting a sigh out as you do that exhale. Taking another inhale with a very slow exhale. And as you're taking these breaths in, try to see that air, follow that breath with your mental eye, going down through the body, all the way down into the lower diaphragm, and then exhaling out any stress, any tension that doesn't need to be there anymore. And still with your eyes closed, starting to feel into the body. So if you're sitting down, you might bring awareness to the supports of the chair that you're sitting in. Perhaps your feet on the floor, feeling into them, rooting into them. Sure. Checking in with different parts of your body, perhaps checking in with how your shoulders are feeling. Any tension there? Are you able to use the breath to create more space there? Checking in with the hips. Seeing if, once again, can you create a little bit more space by breathing into that area of the body? And if you can't, just even acknowledging that. And then kind of coming back to the awareness of why we're here to choose a pile, asking yourself, is there a message for me in one of these piles? And then on that note, opening the eyes and looking at all the cards, the crystals, the colors. If there ever is images on the cards, looking at those and just seeing if something about that crystal color shape is calling your attention, like something in your gut or something even in your mind just is telling you like, this is the crystal for me. This is my pile. If you're someone who likes numbers, you might like to scroll down into the description box below and look at the timestamps next to each pile. If there's a number there that is just calling to you or you see all the time or have recently started to see, then that could also be your pile. And then, of course, whenever you get into a reading, always check in with yourself. Is this making sense for my life? Does this actually feel like a message that is for me. And do remember, we can always choose a pile, sometimes either from what we fear could be true or from our highest good and what we're wanting to call in. So we always try our best as card readers to read from an energy of empowerment, but sometimes we can still slip into the ego and read some of the energetic fears that are coming through. So never take anything that doesn't feel right to you, and always trust yourself first, and don't take on anything that is not yours to take on. Ultimately, you have autonomy here and you get to choose. You can leave the pals at any point. It's all up to you. These are collective readings, so the messages are for groups of people and not personalized. So that being said, I'm going to leave this here and I'll see you in your pick a card piles. Hello, pile one. So you chose this big old piece of amethyst. It's actually really quite a beautiful piece. I always feel like there's a little bit of something else in there. As you can see, there's like it almost looks like a bit of orange. It makes me wonder if it's like jasper, or I'm not really sure what. Yeah, I got it from a person who had a rock shop, and they didn't really care about the small messages about crystals. They just kind of sold rocks. So that's okay though. It's quite a beauty. Okay, so let's look at one thing you need to know during this holiday season. We've got starfish. We have visualize abundance in all forms, abundance mindset. We have release shame, solar plexus chakra, and listen to your intuitive feelings. You know what? Why don't we go more like this? That probably makes visually more sense for you to look at. Here we go. Sorry, a little cat hair there. Yeah. Okay, so the starfish is an interesting one. I don't know why with this, when I'm tuning into it for this pile, I keep seeing someone who is maybe a little bit nervous to come out of deeper waters and go closer to the shore. Essentially, what I see from that is like someone who might be a bit nervous to put themselves more out there, to be closer to the spotlight, to other people's sight is even what I'm getting. But everything coming through is like it's like very encouraging. So it's saying like there might be a pattern for you. So take this as it resonates to you, a pattern of either like, say if you do a lot of family get-togethers, of feeling like like you're almost worried that old family patterns are going to come up in new family situations. Like I almost would say, like for example, for Christmas, perhaps there used to be kind of a heavy dynamic in the family around that time where maybe people would like joke and make fun of you, or they would like tease you about things that didn't feel very nice. There also could have been a lot of like pressures around money and not having enough, and some sort of like, I feel like guilting. I know here it says shame, but I feel like there was a lot of guilting or something around the holiday season. I don't know. I keep wondering if this is around money and finances, because all these cards talk about like things are changing, and to be very aware of if some of the nervousness that's coming up is essentially kind of pulling you back into past memories, if that makes sense. So this feels like sincere, like being like trying your best to be present, but there's just some things that happen where you kind of go, oh no, maybe they're alluding to how things used to be or how things once were. It feels like you're having a hard time separating like past from the future, or the present, I should say, sorry, past from the present. So a lot of this is saying like, hey, things have changed. They really have changed. And it's safe for you to come out of your shell more. It's safe for you to be seen by others. And that there is like this treatment that has changed. Like, I don't know if this is in the family system. You might not even talk to your family anymore, but there could just be a lot of like old instincts to be more protective or quiet or go kind of more within, say at like Christmas parties with friends or with work or something like that. But everything's like really, really pushing you to say like, all this talks about you're safe. you're like so accepted for who you are now, and you don't need to keep hiding. So I would just really wonder if this pile did just have like a really rough go at a younger age, maybe even up, like, I feel like this could even been until you're like a teenager or an adult. But whatever your circumstances are, I feel like you're not in those anymore. So could be that your family got some therapy and some counseling, grew up a little bit, or have gained respect and understanding for you. But I do overall feel like there's just like this encouragement to know that if you've struggled with this being a difficult season in the past, that it really feels like it's going to be a lot more loving and supportive. And even want to say joyful, because I do get a little bit of like, you don't need to worry about, I want to say like financial guilt or like finances as much, but more than that, it does talk about like this can be like a joyful, happy season for you. This can be like it can be the time where people see you and actually value you. And it's actually used as a holiday of gratitude where people appreciate having you in their life, where they want to spend time with you because they just love being around you. It doesn't have to be a time to go in your shell. It can be a time of being seen more. But that also means that there's a few little reminders about just making sure and checking in that you're only agreeing to do things that actually feel good to you. So whenever I say listen to your intuitive feelings, your body is receiving accurate messages from the divine. So, and this also says, say it's safe for you to be powerful and take charge of your life in positive ways. So I do feel like there's also this message of there are like, you can have those joyful experiences with people who are grateful for you and accept you for all that you are, and is okay to be seen by them. But if there are experiences that you're like, everything in my body is telling me that this is going to be too depleting or draining, it does call on you to use that authority within yourself to say, hey, thanks so much for inviting me, but I just don't have time. Or my schedule is just crazy and won't be able to make it there. But thank you so much for inviting me. Like, it's just like saying, don't feel bad. Don't feel guilty if you do set boundaries, and trust and know that there is going to be occasions or like gatherings where they are going to feel good and really beautiful and supportive. And I like, whenever we see abundance, it does just talk about like they're like cup filling experiences. So that feels really exciting for this pile. So if we were to just summarize what I'm seeing here for guidance, is to not be afraid to set your boundaries and really checking in with your body. If your body's like feeling like, oh, no, this is a no, then trusting that. And once again, I really feel like this is where this like really shame comes through, where it's like, don't feel guilty, don't feel bad for having these boundaries. They are yours to have. And that will even help you feel like the holiday season can be this joyful experience, can be this thing of abundance and beauty. And then also there is just like that little remark of just, it keeps talking about remembering that the past was the past and you are the version of you now. And I think that keeps coming in just to reiterate that you are empowered now. If you were a kid and you couldn't set boundaries because your parents didn't respect them or family members didn't respect them, it's just like reminding you that that was the past, and this is adult you, this is older you. You are not in that same place. You do have the ability to stand up for yourself. We can tend to forget that when we are kind of in those trickier moments. So I think that you might have been drawn to the amethyst just because there's a lot about following your intuition and listening to your body during this season. And that ultimately is going to be the best guide for you to know what is going to be honoring for you, what you'll have the time for, what you have the energy for, and just help you kind of be more in that, I want to say, joyful, blissful state during the holiday season. So I'm just going to pull one more card, just asking for anything else that needs to come through for beautiful starfish people. We have observe, don't absorb. And it says, if you're taking on stress of others, try observing the situation from a distance. This will increase your energy. Yeah. Okay. So this almost makes me see like a shield of like lavender purple. Like literally lavender is all about calm and just being like, I can see that you're struggling. It's like compassion versus empathy. Because empathy, it's not that it's a bad thing, but if it's if you have a lot of empathy for people who are very draining, sometimes it can be better to be like, hey, I just need to have compassion right now where I can see you in your experience. I can recognize that it's hard, but I'm not having to feel through your emotions with you. That might be a little less draining for this pile. And once again, I do wonder if you have like a family system that does have like a really bad scarcity mindset or poverty mindset. And it could be because they really are in that state, or there's just like, I feel like there's some heaviness around it. So sorry about that. That doesn't seem like something that's been that easy for you to live through. Let's just ask for one more card here. We have honor your inner child. Focus on your inner child's needs. Is your inner child afraid or in need of more playtime? Cherish this precious being within you. Yeah, I love that. So, yeah, that is kind of what I was getting with the starfish, where I was saying, I feel like there's a part of you that does get, for lack of better words, perhaps a bit triggered or gets very stressed during this season because of the past. Like in the past, it wasn't maybe very joyful, playful, or an amazing time. So it's saying to really just spend time comforting that part of yourself and recognizing, and this is the part of you that needs that reminder that you're an adult now. You're going to keep this inner child safe. You're going to hold the boundaries for it. And that you're just not in that situation anymore. You're not in that situation anymore. That was in the past. You've already survived it. And now you're in a place of empowerment where you get to determine what you're going to do, who gets your time, the places you're going to be. So it can be a little bit tricky, but it does seem like that will really help you get through this season. So, anywho, that is all I have for you, pile ones. I'm wishing you the best of luck. And just remember to not be ashamed or feel guilty for setting these boundaries. It doesn't matter if society says something about family. If family is not treating you well, it does not hold space for you or respect your boundaries, then it's totally fair for you to uphold the consequences of those boundaries not being respected. So I'm just wishing you the best of luck. Keep following that intuition. It's going to get you through this season. And don't worry, it can be a joyful experience for you. As long as you keep following your gut and following what your body's telling you, there can be some beauty in this time of year. All right, I'm going to leave it here and get into the next pile. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to get more videos, you can always subscribe. If you want to support the channel, I do offer YouTube members only videos. There's extended as well as just full videos as well on there. So if that's something you're interested in, is always available and you can cancel at any time. Otherwise, you have a good one and maybe I see you around sometime. Hello, pile 2. So you chose this rose quartz pyramid. I'm just going to put it right there in the center. And let's look at what your advice is for one thing during the holiday. Let's start with the cheetah. We have shield yourself, fairies. We have release resentments about money and exercise to increase your energy and manifestations abilities. And then lastly, we have restore yourself with alone time. Take a break from the busy world, replenish yourself in the stillness. Meditate, stretch, nap, garden, do whatever quiet activities your spirit yearns for. Okay. Let's put those there. There we go. Okay, so pile 2s. One, I'm kind of taking this a little bit from the pyramid that you chose, which I always see as like finding more support and ground and compassion for yourself during times of a bit of dysregulation or stress. So with the cards that are coming through, there is a lot of talk about, like the cheetah talks about moving through stressful situations with grace. And by doing that, by balancing out the need for restoration and the need for action. And what really draws my attention here is I actually kind of wish I would have put these two cards beside each other and these two cards beside each other, but I didn't. I did it the opposite way, which is okay. When I see increase exercise exercise to increase your energy and manifestations ability, and fairies, which is all about like playfulness, kind of getting out of the head, getting out of kind of like listening to like stressful news and like, just like if a lot of people around you are talking about like, oh, it's such a stressful time, holidays are so expensive, like that, yada, yada, yada. Like, it's just like there's always like that dialogue going around in half the population, or maybe more than half the population, about how stressful holidays are and how they don't like them, they don't like the family stuff, they don't like this and that and this, and then there's other people who have like great things to say, but they don't seem to be complaining, so we don't hear it as much. But ultimately, this talks about knowing when to almost I don't want to say it has to be like a workout per se, but doing something with your physical body to kind of get the world out of your mind. So this talks about maybe going to a dance class. It could be ecstatic dance. It could just be dancing in your house. It could be going to a local workout class or a group biking, jogging, I wanted to say cycling, but it's the same as biking class. Like maybe getting out and just doing something so you stop being left with your thoughts ruminating about the world. Because I do feel like this talks about like the world kind of catches up with you and you kind of just need a bit of a thing to distract you from your thoughts. And it's not that they're distracting you so much as it finally gets you out of your head a little bit more during this holiday season. And I do essentially see that it's just like you just hear a lot of complaining. A lot of people's stresses during this time. So that could be because of the job you work, or it could be because of the friends you're around who might just be struggling with finances right now. Could be that people friends or family, don't have great relationships with. Friends and family, so they have to like kind of vent a little bit more. And I kind of feel like ultimately this is where that like restore yourself with alone time comes in, because it's saying like it's awesome that you're there to support people, but you do need a little bit of a break from it. And I imagine you have your own family dynamics or friend dynamics that come up, coworker dynamics during this time of year, because I do feel like it is saying like frustrations are coming from outside of you and from within you around this time. What you can do is keep the frustrations that are outwardly from affecting you as much. So when I see shield yourself, this talks about setting more boundaries with people. So this can even be with if you know someone kind of has a tendency to just vent every time you see them for like an hour or two, maybe setting a time, like saying like, hey, like I only have an hour this week for you, or only have an hour this month for you even, and just really, really getting clear on setting those, like, it's essentially a shield for you. That's like your protection, is knowing that you get to choose how much of these people you intake, how much time they get from you. And you can even possibly even just tell yourself like, hey, they're going to be going through a hard time. I know that, but I don't need to take it on. And sometimes having that conversation with ourselves is enough to stop us from getting lost in their shit, for lack of better words. Yeah. And with releasing resentment about money, I do really feel like this is from other people first. So your family, your parents might have had some stresses about money or still do. And maybe even like grandparents or something like that. So it does talk about like, if you are hearing a lot of people saying things about money, to really like make sure you're taking a step back and be like, hey, do I want to take this on too? Do I want to feel resentful about the money that I have or don't have? Do I want to feel resentful about the cost of things? If I do, then that's my choice. But if this is actually not my resentment, this is their resentment, maybe I can just like put up an energetic hand and say, no, I don't want to take that on. I know they're struggling with that. Doesn't mean I have to. So it's interesting. The first pile also had a lot of messages around knowing the difference between feeling like you have to be there with them, more like an empathy response versus a compassion response. Is not a bad thing to have empathy, but when it starts to become a thing where we're having so much empathy for everybody else, and we're starting to take on a lot of that because we're feeling all of it, it can be really great to start trying to find that balance between empathy and compassion. Compassion is, I see your situation, I see what you're going through, but I don't have to feel it or live through it myself. So it's almost like maybe literally picturing like a bubble or a shield around yourself where you're like setting the intention that love and support can still come through, but you're just not wanting to take on these other people's beliefs around their finances, around difficulty this time, because it's not necessarily something that you feel like you need to be experiencing. You don't need to be in that hole with them, I guess is like a good way to put it, unless you want to be. But that's ultimately what's coming through, is that you get to choose, and just remembering you get to choose. So, how do you do that? It does talk about getting some distance from it. If we're always around people who are talking about this, it's really hard to see once we started to take these things on. So, some of the guidance coming through is just remembering the importance of alone time. And I can't help but see like a person meditating in the background. So, maybe establishing like even a 5 or 10 minute meditation a day. It could look even as simple as journaling for 5 to 10 minutes a night or morning, just to make sure that you're not leaving with anyone else's stuff. It's just yours. And if it's the your stuff that you want to keep. So that could really be like a mindfulness practice. It could even be like a reflection time where you just go over in your head being like, all right, what did I hear today? A lot of complaints about there not being enough money in the world. Okay, how do I feel about that? Do I actually want to keep carrying that, or do I want to respect that that is their experience right now, and do I want to step away from it? It doesn't have to be about money, it could be about other things, but that's just the example I'm giving right now. And then once again, coming into that exercise to make sure that if you're really getting stuck in your head about things, that sometimes you just give yourself the permission to just be embodied, to just go to that exercise, that dance class, go for that walk outside. Perhaps there's even like a creative thing you like doing, like maybe like taking outdoor photography, or something like that. Maybe take flower photography, whatever it is. It's like just letting yourself experience that and not have to figure anything out in the mind during a time. Yeah, yeah. And Cheetah does also talk about not being afraid to protect yourself. Like, and when I say that, I really do mean like setting those boundaries, knowing that you are not a bad person for having boundaries, for setting them, for implementing them. And you're also not a bad person if you have compassion for people, but you're not taking on and living through their challenges or emotional pains. So, really trying to come from compassion for even yourself, for how much you're having to hold for people and for others, but knowing that you don't need to also carry those burdens. Easier said than done, I know, but sometimes with that awareness or that mindful piece, it can really help us start to come clear where we're picking up things. So that being said, the play the play comes through strongly, where it's like letting yourself be playful, letting yourself just even experience the joy of the seasons and the joy of your friends who are supportive and are there. And don't forget about them during this time. Okay, I'm just going to shuffle a few more cards here and ask for any concluding messages for this pile, for advice about what you can focus on to stay the most centered you can this holiday season. We have release fear. Stop inventing scary stories about the future. Stay in the now and affirm your strengths. So whenever I see the imagery on this card, I always think about remembering to be mindful about the breath, taking in new air, exhaling old, really calming down that nervous system and remembering what's true, what is true. Because often when I see this like scary stories kind of card coming through, it often means like the people around us might be falling into a lot of scary stories. We might be hearing a lot of scary stories about there's not enough this, there's not enough that, this is going to shit. And it's just like clearing that out. I always see that as like Maybe you need to clear some energy, clear your mind, remember what is yours and what you actually want to take in. So just a little bit of that mindful piece. And let's just ask for another card here. Summary card. You got breathe. Okay, so a lot of confirmation about using your breath to bring the mindfulness in. Breath is sacred. To replenish yourself, slowly inhale wellness and clarity to a count of 6. Then exhale stress to a count of 6. I really, really do love this for this pile because I honestly feel like you might not have in your awareness, like you might know that you like have a lot of empathy for people, but I don't know if you realize how much you're really experiencing and processing for other people. Like they're in the emotion and you're joining them there, and that is very exhausting. So there's a lot about remembering that you can handle this, remembering to have compassion for yourself, release any critical voices that might be your own or might be other people. Just really coming back to it's okay to be peaceful. It's okay to see others in disarray, have compassion for them, but you don't need to also take that on. Okay. This is where I'm going to leave you, my pile twos. I hope this was helpful for you, gave you some confirmations. If you ever want to get more from the channel, do offer a YouTube members only video where there'll be access to extended readings as well as member only readings. You can always cancel at any time, and you do get access to all the old or already out there videos. So, yeah, if not, that's totally cool. And maybe I'll catch you in another pick card reading sometime. Hello, pile threes. So you chose this clear quartz. I will put it right in the middle here. And let's look at your guidance for the holiday season. We have dragon. We have take a divinely guided chance. Ooh, partnership. We have practice self-soothing. You have the power to comfort yourself. When you are upset, place your hand gently over your heart. Send yourself unconditional love to ease tension and frustration. And we have twin flame, which talks about soulmate relationships. Doesn't always have to be romantic. And then it says workshops and seminars. Attending and giving speeches is part of your spiritual path and purpose. Be open to teaching and learning. Okay. You know what? I do feel like I have to go this way because those ones apply with each other better. Shoom. Okay. Okay. Hey, so my pile threes. One thing the dragon talks about is not playing it small, stepping into your deepest level of courage and wisdom and knowing that you have what it takes to see things through. So that's pretty cool. I would wonder, I am definitely getting a bit of a career vibe, but also the relationship vibe does feel like it's applicable to this pile. Taking divinely guided chance does make me always feel like take a divinely guided change. So, especially when workshops and seminars are coming up, if there is like a course you've been wanting to take, or even more, if there is something you've wanted to create in the world, if you're like, I want to make a speech, a podcast, be an interviewed on a podcast, I want to make this project, this thing out there, it's like, really realizing that you have everything you need within you. Your level of wisdom, your level of depth might be deeper than you remember. You might have forgotten just how much you're capable of. So it comes in to say, do not forget your power. Do not forget your lived experience. Do not forget how just actually ready you are. Don't forget that. And so, that being said, that feels like a bit of a message. And then when I look at this partnership in twin flame, um, practice self-soothing. So this is where I'm like, please take this as it makes sense to you, because I'm getting a little caught up on the fact that I feel like this could be talking about, especially with the dragon, knowing that right now during the holiday season, you might be unconsciously drawn to fall into old relationship patterns. And it talks about if you're really wanting a change or shift, to really get clear on if there is areas in this relationship that might be, how do I put this? Like, is there any insecurities within yourself that are coming up that are perhaps needs you need met that you haven't always voiced? Is there insecurities that are arising that you might need more reassurance around? Is there more that you're needing, but you are not letting yourself receive that support or reassurance from your partner, if you do currently have one? It also talks a lot about reclaiming your your ability to remember you have the power to ask for your needs to be met. Um, and I want to clarify this a little bit because it's something we can just forget. Like, if we're feeling like we are needing something from someone, we could feel like maybe you need to take care of it yourself. It could also be that you feel safer giving in relationship. You don't want to ask more of someone when you see that the holiday season might be hard on them. And it's just saying, remember that you are able to ask for those things, but just making sure you're checking in with yourself first. What am I actually needing? I think that's more or less what's coming through here is like coming to yourself first, getting clear on what you're needing or what is not being given to you that you are needing. So if that is reassurance, that if that is more physical touch, if that is more I'm trying to sorry, I'm trying to think about the love languages and my mind's blinking. If that is more quality time, like just getting very clear within yourself what it is that you're needing and understanding where that's coming up or why you haven't been feeling like you've been getting enough of that. And ultimately, it's like kind of saying so that you can bring it to your partner because I feel like it's saying once you have clarity around it yourself, it'll be much easier for your partner to understand how they can meet that need and support you in the way that they would love to. So that feels like something for people who already are in relationship. If you're someone who currently doesn't have a relationship, what this could mean for you is taking time to really understand what needs were not met in previous relationships and getting a little bit more of a establishment in yourself, just meaning like understanding what you believe you're deserving of, building up that worthiness, building up that just that knowledge and that belief in yourself that you don't need to earn love. You are so deserving of it just as is. Sometimes that can be what comes through. So it's like, if we're really focused on love, it can talk a lot about learning our own value first, learning how to ask for what those are, and trying to get aware of our patterns in the past that have perhaps stopped us from feeling like we could ask for the things we were needing in relationship so that when you do get this beautiful partner, um, that we know how to like ask for what we need and we really are clear on what wasn't met in the past relationships, if that makes sense. So this is talk a lot about like just getting really clear on your needs, what your maybe what your habits are or patterns are in being afraid to ask for. And if you do already know those, then bringing that into the partner and telling them how they can support you and really guiding them through how to navigate that with you. I know that can sometimes be tricky, but it's really talking about being important for you to reach out and allow yourself to receive support from others and just be able to experience more pleasure in your relationships and people caring for you. And there could be a correlation with all this. I mean, with this like dragon coming through about taking a chance, knowing that you're capable, knowing that you're worthy of it, there could be similar message going on for this romantic life. So maybe some of you have been single for a while and you haven't been putting yourself out there. This could be the season to start opening up to that, but also just making sure that you are checking in with yourself. You are asking yourself why you maybe aren't feeling like your needs are met, like just being very, very self aware in the sense of supporting yourself, checking in with yourself, not blaming yourself during the dating process or during the holiday season. Because I do feel like that's a pattern that some of us can fall into. And if you are feeling really insecure in dating or in a current relationship that you're in, just also checking in with where that's coming up within yourself. And then, of course, not being afraid to bring it to your partner, but just kind of making sure that you understand what need is coming up or why that insecurity is coming up, so that you can just help your partner understand yourself better. Could even be with seeing a therapist or counselor with that, but does talk about just constantly checking in with yourself first, making sure that you understand what's going on, what you're needing, so that you can bring it for support, to get support from others. Sorry, I feel like I said that a lot. So, anyways, let's pull some clarifying cards just around anything else you need to know during this holiday season. Just clarifying, summarizing anything that came up. We have stop sensory overload. If too much is coming at you too fast, decrease your stimulation level. Take a break from people, dim the lights, and savor quietude. So this one's kind of interesting. I wonder if that's also where the practice self-soothing comes up, where it's like maybe knowing where your limits are and finding those actions, those supportive actions that help you feel more regulated and feel more self-soothed. Okay, let's see what else is coming through for this pile. I just can't help but thinking of like this is like this image here, the self-soothing one is literally how I see it when I'm trying to get people to connect with a part of themselves that is experiencing fear or anxiety, and essentially kind of mothering that part of themselves. So it can be kind of like a form of inner child work, but I just keep thinking that. So there could be an inner child that comes up a lot, and this could be a little bit of a message for someone here to connect in with that inner child and give it the support and nurturing and reminders that it's safe, it's loved, it's okay for it to be scared. You've got them, you've got their back, that kind of stuff. And then we also have, you can handle this. There is a wise saying, you are never given more than you can handle. Tune into your heart to reconnect with your strengths. So once again, a lot around the heart. So this pile might really benefit from doing some inner parts work, some inner self-connection work. Yeah. And maybe just getting really curious with like, why is it that everyone else can see that you're so capable, that you're so wise, that you've got this, but you're feeling a little nervous to take a chance on yourself? Like, just getting curious about that. If there's a certain part of you that comes forward when you think about this, if you can offer that part of you some support, some nurturing, or once again, maybe even seeing someone through the holiday season that helps you honor your inner child and focus on the needs that it has and help comfort it when it's afraid, so that you can feel more regulated through these less regulated times. Okay. And get clarity. I have to say that you did choose the clarity stone. So it talks about just really getting clarity on the parts of yourself that might be making it really hard to take actions, because it's like, hey, yo, we're scared. So that inner child work could really, really be key for this season for you all. Okay. Anyways, this is where I'm going to leave it. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope this gives you some ideas and encouragements about how you can get some practices and habits in for the month ahead, just so that you can stay as balanced as possible during this holiday season. And I'm just wishing you the best.